Hi everyone, Rini here, and welcome to my channel. So given that it's a Friday today, and it appears that Bitcoin and the crypto markets are currently in correction mode, a long overdue correction to be honest, let's dive into the Bitcoin charts just to see what's going on, map out all scenarios at play, and more importantly, identify the key price levels that we all have to account for in order to make a proper call as to whether we are still in a bull market or are we at risk for a dead cat bounce and further capitulation to the downside. And let's dive in. So what I have here is I have the chart of Bitcoin on a daily time frame, and if you notice, we finally, after 2 weeks of just straight upside motion right here, we are finally capitulating right here. So this is actually very much expected. So if we know where we had the 21 EMA crossing the 55 EMA or a golden cross, what you'd notice is after a subsequent run up for a while, it really does settle in for a while right here before our continuation to the upside. Now, there are a couple of price levels to account for here. So remember in our previous updates on Bitcoin that we were currently in an ascending triangle right here. So this was the neckline of that ascending triangle, and this is the current trend line that was pretty much going up. Right now, look at where we're finding support. We are currently finding support at the neckline which we have just broken. So this 44694, we wicked down on it, but currently we are of course testing it as support before hopefully our continuation to the upside. So just because we're holding it now, it doesn't always mean that we can support it, of course, because at the end of the day, the 21 EMA is still below the current price levels that we are in. So the current 21-day EMA, which is at 43,717, could be a potential support level if we break through this 44,694 right here. If we further correct from here, then expect of course that the 55 EMA, which is currently at 42,449, could be another potential support level before we continue moving forward. Another key price level of course is if we suddenly really just break through it in a couple of days or so, we will come back to the ascending triangle structure. This upper trend line right here will provide another level of support before hopefully our continuation to the upside. But right now, of course, it is potentially possible that we can just hold this structure, maybe wicked on it a couple of times more before our subsequent continuation. Zooming out on Bitcoin on a weekly time frame, if you ask me, this candle right now on a weekly time frame is very, very much welcome because it is much better to test key support levels now, right after we have broken through the structure, than just continue to go up. Because what's going to happen is if you just continue to go up and you refuse to keep testing it, we are in for a much more painful test in the future. So at the end of the day, this is actually a welcome sight for all of us here. And one of the good things about it is our bull market support band, where as long as Bitcoin is above our key structure as well as the 20 EMA, the current price levels where we're in, we are currently testing these two EMAs. If this holds, then it gives a lot of confidence not only to Bitcoin but also the rest of the crypto space that we are really smooth sailing and we will rock it from here as long as we hold these key levels of support on a weekly time frame. So a key question that you may be asking is, what do you do now? So assuming that you have some cash on hand and you really want to get into the market, then what do you do now? Not financial advice, of course, but one thing that you can do is, of course, spread out your buys. If I go back on a daily time frame right now, where are we? We are in a potential entry number 1. So if you were to spread out your buys, then this is entry number 1. Why is that? That is because we are currently resting on key support levels of this particular structure right here. But of course, don't empty your bags on this particular entry right here because of course, you can allot for scenarios where, okay, what if we break through here? Then the 21 EMA is another potential entry where you can spread out your buys and just buy another bag right here, entry number 2. And if we continue to break down further from here, because from previous history, we appear to really be touching both EMAs before continuation to the upside, then you can aim for the 55 EMA as potential entry number 3. So this is what I mean by spread out your buys. Don't just predeterministic that you will just empty all of your bags in a particular investment. So to summarize, we are in a much needed correction after a massive gains over the past couple of weeks. It is much better to test the structure now so that we have full clarity that the market is really geared up for the subsequent move to the upside.